I have no idea if Christian McCaffrey is staging a hold-in. But I guess here's my question, and it's maybe a larger one, but Christian's a great example. I do think that every player, when it comes to the whole money thing, there's two things that play. A, the conversation around every player is different. So to me, if we were having a conversation about Nick Bosa, that's a different conversation than we're having about Christian McCaffrey, because one of them is coming off of major injury. If George Kittle right now asked for a big raise, I'd be like, let's wait, right? That's how I feel on those, because as players get older and you have multiple injuries to the same area of the body, I think it's fair to say, like, we gotta see that you are still the same player. But Christian McCaffrey is coming off a year in which he led the NFL in touches, most he's ever had in his career. And while that rightfully scares us with regard to the future, from his perspective, he's sitting there going, I showed you everything I can show you. And I came back looking spry at camp. You know exactly who I am and how I'm going to go about this whole thing. So that's number one. But number two, I guess I question why we're so scared of this. 99% of us do not understand how the NFL cap works anyway. And there's so much hand-wringing over, oh my gosh, the Niners, they just get bent over every offseason. It's like, okay, when has this ever hurt? I would love for somebody to give me the example of, well, the Niners wanted to do X and they couldn't do it because they just didn't have any money. They had no money left because of Bosa and Ayuk and Debo and Trent and Christian. All I know is they're running around with the most cap space in the whole league. So what is the concern, I guess, is my question.
Well, the concern for Christian, I think, would be next year. And just looking at the spot track numbers, his base salary next year will be 16.8. This year it is 1.3, his base. And so his cap hit next year will be $26 million. So if you're Christian, you're thinking, okay, you can go ahead and bring me back and I'll be on the team and I'll make $26.4 million because, you know, the bonus and the option bonus and the roster bonus and the base salary. But I don't think the team actually wants that themselves. They don't want to pay him that much in a base salary. They'd rather look at that and say, all right, we owe you 26.4 just for next year. We're going to give you 2 years and 33 and give you 15 of that up front in a bonus, and then we'll work on it from the rest of it down the road. And that's what they do with everybody. They give you cash up front, and then they stretch you out to where you get into voidable years. And when you get to those voidable years, hopefully the number is small enough to where, all right, even though you're retired and we have to pay you, or we've already paid you, but we have to take on the cap hit, it's at least stretched out.
Yeah, I get that, and that makes sense. And that's probably what they're going to have to do. But I guess, listen, maybe it's not great for the purposes of this discussion. From my seat as a fan, chilling. First of all, the whole question about why have you not done it until now? Well, there was no reason to. There's been no deadline. Okay, well, now you got to get it done because the game is 3.5 weeks away, and he's been working out with the team. He's Christian McCaffrey. Are we really worried that the guy's going to go AWOL? I don't feel or see any concern here. And then if there's any criticism of Christian, because this is, as I said in the crossover, the one thing that bugs me the most is when fans go, you signed the deal, dude. Show up. You signed the deal. Well, first of all, he has shown up. That's number one. But number two, why do you pin that on the players but never the teams? We love when a deal goes south in the NFL, just like Ayuk did, and a team is able to find their way out of the deal. Just wiggle on out of there. Just cut the guy. It's not guaranteed money. So if Christian is truly sitting here, and look at what Christian's looking at, right? He shows up at camp. He's coming off of 411 touches or whatever it is. And he's looking around, and he and his agent say, let's wait, because Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan are both about to get extensions. And then, boom, they both get extensions, and they're both up in the $22 million range. Meantime, last 2 seasons, the 49ers have drafted running backs that they hoped would come in and contribute behind Christian. What happens to both of them in camp? Oh,
yeah, they got hurt.
They're hurt. Not Christian. They're hurt. To the point where Khalil Herbert and Zamir White and all of these dudes are getting run in the 49ers' first preseason game. So Christian's sitting there and he's going, well, the guys behind me are hurt and the top of the market just got reset and I'm Christian McCaffrey, 400 some odd touches. Why wouldn't that be a phone call? I'm trying to figure out why, if any of us were Christian, would we not do the same thing?
And if I'm the Niners, I've made the call before he actually makes the call. Because if you look at what he is owed next year, as you get into that final year of what he had reworked in 2024, the cap hit is $26 million, and you'd much rather have that be, I don't know, $14 million, and you'd rather give him another bonus and stretch that over 4 or 5 years and tack on voidable years at the end. And so for the team, this is what they always do. They reach out to their veterans, the ones that they love, and they try to rework the deal, stretch the money. That way the cap hit is lesser, and you get into next year, and you could start to add more people.
Do you guys know, Grandy, you can jump in on this too, have the 49ers, when they said tightness, tightness of what? What?
I don't think they've specified. Just like it took a while for Bosa officially to have the issue with the knee.
Right.
There was questions, maybe it was a back or something else.
Right. Florio threw out that it might be his back.
They haven't specified.
Okay. So I think that's another clue. That's another clue. Not that NFL teams are always forthright and they're going to run out in the streets with a big sign and tell you everything that's going on inside camp. I mean, Puka Nacua and Myles Garrett haven't been practicing for over a week either. You know, Puka Nacua left with a tight something or other. He didn't get an extension. He's eligible. Is he having a hold-in? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, Myles Garrett hasn't practiced in 2 weeks. Is anybody flipping out down there? Doesn't feel like it. So, I think that's probably a clue. If they're just like, well, why is he sitting out? Well, just tightness. Tightness of what? You know,
tightness.
General tightness.
Little tightness, yeah.
I mean, the way I actually look at it, if Christian McCaffrey is taking this week off, give me the one party who might be involved in this situation who doesn't benefit from Christian sitting out in mid-August.
I mean, I don't really know who that would be. You've got Juszczyk sitting out. You've got Kittle sitting out. You've got Trent sitting out a lot. And, you've got a lot of these guys, the veterans, who are sitting out because none of this really matters. You've got another preseason game. You have a joint practice, which matters more than the preseason game. And then one more preseason game that no one will play in. And then you're off to Australia.
I'm trying to think of all the parties involved. One of them is Christian. Okay? Does Christian benefit from rest and bubble wrap?
Yes, but I do know that he likes to play.
Yeah, of course he does.
I'm sure he's champing at the bit a little bit.
Sure. Like emotionally. Yeah. But I'm talking about the bigger picture here. Does he benefit? Does his agent benefit?
Yeah.
Okay. Do the 49ers potentially benefit?
For sure.
All right.
Does Patrick Taylor Jr. benefit?
I was going to say, does Kaelon Black and Jordan James, even though both of them are rumors right now, when they return, do they benefit from Christian McCaffrey watching practice?
Assuming they can actually get carries and touches, yeah, they would.
This is great. This is phenomenal. What's going on?
Well, and does the team
there's no
benefit?
downside.
The team benefits in that if they can make this work and restructure the deal, and you like McCaffrey, and I think that they do, then you want to have him for 1, 2, 3, 4 more years, then yeah, it benefits them as well.
Yeah, I don't know about 4 more years. I don't even know about 3. I don't know what this is actually about. I doubt it would go that deep into the whole thing. But look, Christian McCaffrey, even if you took a quarter of his touches away, even if you took more than a quarter of his touches away, don't you still want him on your team? Don't you think that would still be a really healthy option to have? You look around in the NFL, there are very few bell cow running backs like Christian McCaffrey. So there's no reason that he can't graduate into being a 65% running back. I mean, hell, if the Niners could ever hit one of these damn running backs that they draft, I actually would love that idea. I'd love to see a 60-40 or a 65-35 split between Christian McCaffrey. And maybe not this year, but like by next year, if Kaelon Black is awesome, I'd love that. Do a 65-35. Great. Preserve everybody. Give the defense that many more looks. Some fresh legs at running back. I think that's a good thing.
But before we get to that, if I'm Christian McCaffrey, I'm thinking, well, before we get to that spot, I want to get as much more money as I can, guaranteed money and all the rest of it. Because, you mentioned it. You went out there and drafted a running back again, and Jordan James popped in 3 or 4 carries at the end of the year. But it was like, oh, my, this guy looks like he might be a thing. And so now you have 2 actual backups who are known and named. This is not Raheem Mostert, and this is not Jeff Wilson Jr., no disrespect, but they were either late picks or undrafted, but now it's like boom, boom, draft capital. These guys might be your replacement.
And they say they like them. In other words, the returns that they're getting in camp when people, and I know the lights aren't on yet, and it's just camp, but camp matters. Remember, it was camp when Kyle Shanahan walked off the field and pulled Jed York aside after watching Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Brock Purdy play at camp for a month. And he went, yeah, boss, so there's this thing. Check it out. Brock Purdy's the best of the 3. And he was right, and he could tell that from camp. So I do think you can tell some things from camp. They're with these guys every day. And their returns, their internal returns, are that Jordan James and Kaelon Black are nice. They like them. It's early. They're young. They haven't got a lot of play. But I think that they are optimistic about what those 2 guys can do if and when given the chance.
Potentially, but it's also kind of a hedge based on, McCaffrey coming off a year where he led the league in touches. And I'm not trying to be the doomsayer, but the last 2 times he did that, he got hurt the following year. And I did the deep dive on players who've had 400 or more touches since 2000. Only 2 of them have done it this late in their career, 9 years into their career or more. And both of them ended up retiring the year after. So one of them was Tiki Barber.
Okay.
And, one anomaly is LaDainian Tomlinson. He was younger in his career, but he went 3 straight years of 390 or more.
I was just going to ask you if anybody's done 400 plus 2-3 years in a row. Has anyone done that? And you took it to 390, but go 400. Has anybody done 400 plus touches 2 or 3 years in a row? Do you have that?
I have it right here.
Okay.
And of course, it's all penciled out. Chicken scratch my pencil. But Curtis Martin in year 10, he had 412. The next year, he went 244, retired.
Okay.
Tiki Barber, year 9, he had 385. And actually, he had 411, came back with 385, retired. LaDainian Tomlinson's the one. He went in 02, he had 451.
Jeez.
And then 03, he had 413.
Okay.
04, he had 392.
Damn.
So that's the closest that anyone came. And by the way, in 06, he had 404. So over the course of 5 years, he went 390 or more 4 times.
It can be done. I don't think the Niners want him to go over 400 this year. So that's the other thing it'd be fun to get an honest answer from Kyle Shanahan and others in the building. Like, perfect scenario is what? Well, what's the perfect scenario in the backfield this year? And I would bet that under 400 touches, significantly under 400 touches, would be what they would say.
Yeah, I don't know about significantly, but if you get 20 a game, that's 340. And I think that's
a good number.
It is. And the other thing, and I haven't done the full deep dive on one touch versus another touch, but I'm looking at my list. Eddie George in 2000, 453 touches. I don't think that he probably had 100 catches. So McCaffrey last year, he had 413 in the regular year, and he had 105 catches. Mm-hmm. I do think that the catch touch is less violent than the run touch.
Yeah, because, on some of the catches, you don't even get hit at all.
Right.
Some of them.
Exactly.
You certainly don't have to bust through the line.
And if you do get hit, like if you're running the ball from the backfield, you've got to get by the first 4 and then the next 3, and then there's 4 other ones, and you might get 4 or 5 guys to get you. And if you're out of the backfield, you might catch it and have, one person, or you might get out of bounds. And so all touches are not equal, but he's going to be into an area that not many people have gone before.
I love somewhere between 300 and 350. I like that. That's what I would hope for. And obviously, the job is to win football games. So if there is a week where he needs 29 or 30 touches in order to win the football game, you do it. But I bet that there will be weeks where not even 20 are needed in order to win the football game. And who knows why or what. Maybe they're blowing someone out. Maybe someone's blowing them out. Or maybe Kaelon Black and Jordan James. I don't have timelines on either of these guys, but my sense is, because over the last 3 or 4 days, both of them have been appearing at practice and doing some work on the side. That would suggest to me, with 3.5 weeks to go until there's an actual football game, that they've got time. They've got time to be ready. It's a bummer because Black is a rookie. Reps matter. Jordan James still young. Reps matter. So I'm not saying that's not a thing. However, running back is not as complex to learn as wide receiver. I mean, I think
it's more complex with Kyle, though, because he asks you to line up in the slot and in motion and all the rest of it.
But still less than the receiver position. The receiver position is notorious, especially with Kyle, for being very, very difficult to digest as a rookie.
That's fair, but I also think that the running back position with Kyle and with Bobby Turner, the running back coach, they are so exacting and so demanding. And, McCaffrey, last year he had 413 touches, and they all weren't like Picasso's, but it's a high level of reliability. Like, McCaffrey's going to know where to go. He'll know the route. He'll know the play. He'll know the blocking assignment, all the rest of it. And you're asking Jordan James, who barely played, and then Kaelon Black, a rookie, you're asking them to measure up to that? That's a big ask.
It's a big ask, but that's what football is. It's a big ask. You got to figure this all out. I guess my point is, in a perfect world, don't you think that Kyle Shanahan would like to get 1 or 2 of those guys involved, consistently?
No.
Oh, see, I totally disagree.
In a perfect world, I think that he wants to win every single play.
No,
and the best way to win the play is with Christian McCaffrey.
Well, but I don't think that I agree with that, because there's also the next play, and you want to win that too. And there's a play 8 weeks from now, and you want to win that too.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's an easy balance to figure out, but it's a balance. And I think he has said this out loud. He has said that he didn't think he did a great job last year of rotating in and out, number one. Number two, though, I think that he didn't love what the other options were.
Right.
I think the Niners would like to love 1 or 2 of those other options to the point where they don't feel like the gap, at least for a play here or there, or even a drive, the gap isn't major fall off. That's the hope. That's why you keep picking these guys.
Right, and you brought in Brian Robinson last year, and I do believe you brought him in thinking that he was going to be better than he was, and, he turned out to not be a great pass catcher, and he didn't really have a lot of explosion in the run game, and to give him credit, the run blocking was not good for anybody, and so you brought in Brian Robinson thinking that he'd be your not in a 60-40, but he might be your 80-20 or your 75-25 portion breakdown, but he didn't really do well enough consistently, and so you had to go back to McCaffrey.
I wonder what the thought process is when they brought in Robinson, because I remember when the Commanders and word was coming out that they were going to go with that Bill Krosky-Merritt, and Robinson was available. And the 49ers at that point, they had drafted Jordan James, but he struggled with injury. They had Isaac Guerendo, who was coming off of an interesting end of the year before. He got hurt again. And then even when he was healthy, he kind of fell out of favor a little bit. So, I don't know. My perception is they looked at Robinson and went, maybe not perfect, but he's a dude with a bunch of NFL experience under his belt. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they got him here, and it was fine. Like, he didn't embarrass himself, but it was probably a little underwhelming.
Right, especially when you think about what they like to do with their running backs. I mean, they like to throw it to him, and McCaffrey had more than 100 catches and all the rest of it, and I don't think that Brian Robinson was that guy. And so you went out and you drafted another running back, and you hope that Jordan James can be the dude.